Hello and welcome. Are you thinking about deregistering for VAT here in the UK? It's a question a lot of business owners ask themselves. And honestly, it can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze of complicated rules and forms. But it really doesn't have to be that way. We're going to break it all down for you, nice and simple, step by step. And this is all thanks to the team at Pro Tax Accountant, who've arranged this helpful discussion for you.
So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? Maybe your turnover is down, or maybe you just feel like you're drowning in a sea of VAT paperwork. If you're sitting there nodding your head right now, well, you're in exactly the right place. Stick with us because this one's for you.
Yup, think of this as your clear, no-nonsense guide to getting this done and getting it done right. It's all brought to you by the specialists over at Pro Tax Accountant. Okay, so what's the plan? Here's the roadmap for our chat today. First, we'll cover the basics of VAT deregistration. Then, we'll dive into your application guide. After that, we'll talk about life after deregistration, what to expect. Then, we'll cover how to avoid some common pitfalls. And finally, we'll wrap up with your next steps. Let's get started. All right, Section 1, VAT deregistration, the basics. We're going to start with the big questions. Should you even cancel, and when? Let's dive in. So, what exactly is VAT deregistration? Well, in simple terms, it's the official process of taking your business out of the VAT system. Once HMRC, that's the UK's tax office, gives you the green light, you stop charging VAT on your sales, and maybe best of all, you can say goodbye to filing those regular VAT returns. For a lot of small businesses, that's a huge weight off their shoulders. Okay, here is the magic number you need to remember: £88,000. This is the key deregistration threshold for the 2025 to 26 tax year. If you can forecast that your VAT taxable turnover is going to drop below that 88,000 mark for the next 12 months, then bingo, you can apply to leave the scheme. Now, it's really important to understand the difference between voluntary and mandatory deregistration. See, on one hand, you've got voluntary. That's your choice. It happens when your turnover falls below that £88,000 threshold, and it gives you some flexibility. On the other hand, there's mandatory deregistration. This isn't a choice at all. If you stop trading completely, you must notify HMRC within 30 days. So it's crucial to know which camp you fall into. And here's a little did you know for you. If you're thinking about this, you are definitely not alone. In 2024, about 40,000 small businesses in the UK deregistered for VAT. And for many of them, it was because of lower turnovers. So this is a pretty common strategic move. All right, that covers the basics. Now let's get into the practical side of things. Section 2, your application guide. This is where we talk about the actual steps to deregister. Honestly, the whole thing boils down to 3 main steps. Step 1, confirm you're actually eligible. You've got to check if your 12-month turnover forecast is below that £88,000 mark. Step 2, settle up. Make sure all your outstanding VAT returns are filed and you've calculated any VAT you might owe on stock. And finally, step 3, apply to HMRC. The fastest way to do this is using the online government gateway service. And here's a pro tip for you, and this one is a biggie. Apply online through your government gateway account. It is so much faster, and when you submit it, do me a favor and screenshot the submission confirmation. Just keep it as proof. It can be an absolute lifesaver if you need it down the line. Okay, moving on to Section 3, life after deregistration. So, you've been approved? What now? What can you expect once you're officially VAT-free? Let's take a look. Right, your first and most important job is to file your final VAT return. Think of this table as your checklist. You'll need to report any VAT you charged on sales right up to your cancellation date. You'll also claim back any input VAT on purchases you made while you were registered. And this is the bit people often miss. You have to pay VAT on the value of any business assets you're keeping. And that deadline is super important. You've got 1 month and 7 days after your VAT period ends. Let's make this a bit more real. Imagine a freelance designer based in London. When they were VAT registered, they bought a fancy work laptop and some expensive software, and they claimed the VAT back on those purchases. Now that they're deregistering, they have to calculate the VAT on those assets they're keeping. It's kind of like paying back the VAT benefit they got in the first place. Here's another great pro tip for you, and this one could actually get you some money back. You can still claim VAT refunds even after you've deregistered. So if you get an invoice for something you bought while you were registered, but the invoice arrives late, you can use Form VAT 427 to claim that VAT back. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, let's talk about Section 4, avoiding common pitfalls. because nobody wants to deal with penalties or headaches from HMRC, right? So let's look at how to stay compliant and make sure this whole process is smooth sailing. So, what are some of the common mistakes to avoid? Well, forgetting to submit that final VAT return on time is a big one. Also, you have to make sure you inform your customers that you're no longer charging VAT. Another classic mistake is failing to monitor your turnover after you've deregistered. And please, get rid of any old invoices that still show your VAT number. And listen to this, you have to keep all your VAT records for a minimum of 6 years after you deregister. That's right, 6 years. So find a safe place for them because you don't want to get caught without them if HMRC asks. And you really have to watch out for those turnover spikes. If your sales climb back over the £90,000 registration threshold in any 12-month period, you have to re-register, and you've only got 30 days to do it. So keep an eye on those numbers. Phew, we have covered a lot, so let's move on to our final section. Number 5, your next steps. We'll quickly recap the key takeaways and talk about where to go from here. So, what are the key takeaways? Number 1, the key threshold for voluntary deregistration is £88,000. 2, apply online and make sure you file that final VAT return correctly, especially accounting for stock. 3, keep your VAT records for at least 6 years. And 4, keep monitoring your turnover to stay compliant. Simple as that. So that really leaves us with one big question. Now that you're in control of the process, is deregistering the right strategic move for the future of your business? It's something to really think about. Look, if you need some expert guidance that's tailored specifically to your business, don't hesitate to get in touch with Pro Tax Accountant. You can reach them on WhatsApp or by phone at 079-856-9912, or you can drop them an email at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And hey, for more clear and simple guides just like this one, make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. Thanks so much for your time today.